Welcome back. Welcome back to the same episode, but we have a brand new guest. Thanks for joining us today, Mariah. What?
Hello.
Yes. For people who don't know, tell the people who you are. Of course, one of the dynamic women in cannabis.
Thank you. My name's Mariah, and I am the brand ambassador with District Cannabis.
Okay, well that you gave us a real short version. Okay, we'll break into it then. We'll break into it. So, Mariah, what brings you, to cannabis? How did you get in this space? What is your story? What is your passion for this?
Um, I would say this. I started working in the cannabis industry here in Maryland back in 2018. I started at a dispensary. And to be completely honest, what got me working in this industry is, for one, I was working, doing something that was quite stressful at the time of my life. And I was looking to kind of change pace and find a new industry. And I started looking around and I was like, whoa, medical is coming to Maryland. So I started looking around. I had already been a consumer, I guess self diagnosing myself prior to really gaining more information about cannabis and the use. You know, when I started working in the industry, I learned more about it. But primarily, I always felt as though cannabis was a part of my lifestyle. And what better way to continue to live my life than to have my lifestyle and my job go hand in hand?
Okay, I mean I appreciate that. And so, for people who don't know, what is district cannabis? I'm very familiar, but give people a brief overview of district and how long you guys have been around.
Yeah. So, District Cannabis is a cultivation company. We started out in DC, um, considering the name, back in around 2015. And as time moved on, we were able to secure a spot here in Maryland. And now we're growing in DC and in Maryland for medical use at this current moment in time.
And I won't be shy, guys. Just so you know, I recently visited District Cannabis. I've known Mariah, in the cannabis community for some time. But I visited the grow facility. It's beautiful. I would say that I've been to almost two handfuls. In Maryland, we have about a dozen operating, and so I can say that unbiasedly, you guys had the best grow that I've seen. Before you guys, it was Holistics, but you guys definitely had the best grow in Maryland thus far. I think you guys had some really um, innovative practices you guys were taking. It seems like definitely a loving staff, but I'm one that can speak to the actual quality of the flower. I shoot, that's probably the most cop strain I've had of 2022 would probably, and 23 now, would probably be gelato cake. And a lot of people could say that, and I think it was somebody, my conversation was, hey, it's good in the morning, it's good in the evening, it's just, very, it's just a good, a good strain. And you guys generally, have good strains. Um, and I look forward to seeing some of those special ones that are going to drop, in the future.
Yes. Yeah,
And
I really appreciate that. Okay, gelato cake, yes, it's an all around. I like to call it.
yes, the gelato, the layer cake, there's a lot of good ones. I think lemon royale is a newer one. Um,
Yeah, right now I'm not going to hold you. My current favorite is the spritzer. I'm really digging it. I feel like it has a reminiscent kind of feel a little bit to gelato cake, a little bit like the euphoric feel good kind of vibe. But I really also like the smell. But of course, what's contributing to the smell and the effects, it's the terps. I'm a big terp person. I'm loving the terp profile on the spritzer. So that's like currently my favorite right now.
And so what is the terp profile on the spritzer? I would assume it's high in limonene. Um,
High in limonene and linalool. It's the amount of linalool that has really kind of pulled me in, because that strain is crossed with runts, grape pie, and miracle alien cookie. But it's something about this like grapey floral kind of fragrance that's coming through that I could really only pinpoint to the linalool, like specifically, that I personally really like the most.
sure, sure. And I think that's why I like the spritzer. I had it recently, not for the first time, probably the second time. It was very uplifting. Um, definitely a very uplifting one. I will say that apparently you guys dropped grapple pie. I thought that was something that was coming later in the later in the timeline, but I heard it drop recently.
Yeah, it literally just dropped. Like you'll probably start seeing that in the stores. Honestly, probably yesterday. It
Yeah,
just dropped.
I heard Mana had it exclusive or had it first.
Yeah,
One of the two. Yeah.
gotta get out and try it. I'm not gonna hold you. I've tried it from our DC grow, but I have to give Maryland its fair try as well.
So you guys had a DC grow before the Maryland grow, right? So okay, okay. Someone did ask me if you guys came from DC originally or you guys were in DC. I told them that I went to your Maryland facility. I wasn't necessarily familiar with your DC grow operation.
Yeah. So out in DC, we have a grow similar. We have a glass house situation set up for the flower. And in DC, we have other strains that we grow as well. Currently, we just dropped banana Aki mints in DC.
Yeah, see, I be seeing all the exclusives for real, like that, and that's why they be in DC. They never come to Maryland. I understand.
Don't
Now,
say never.
what you say?
Don't say never.
Oh yeah, no, I get you. I get you.
Some of the
Uh,
strains, yeah, some of the strains, you might see in might see in DC. It might pop up in Maryland.
no, but you got to put a disclaimer on social media now. Now that I know this, like I got to put the disclaimer only in DC right now because,
Yeah,
because
only in
I
DC.
definitely I get hype. I share some of this on social media, like looking forward to it. Like it's a new movie that's about to drop. So
Right.
yeah.
No, really. And we in DC we also have other products too. Like we're able to make we have dark chocolates, we got gummies, lozenges, tinctures. We have other products too out in DC exclusively right now.
Understood. Understood. Well, I'm a Maryland medical patient, so I'm not as excited about that. But
You
uh,
could be though.
you said, well, I could be at DC. Well, that was one of the questions I had asked about self-certifying in DC. I mean, I know that I don't necessarily need to self-certify, right? Like as a Maryland patient, I can go. I think they have like I forgot maybe it's reciprocity or I forgot exactly what the terminology is called. Where they accept Maryland patients.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Just like how we have allotment here as Maryland patients, you also have an allotment in DC, as a Maryland patient. And as long as all of your credentials are up to date, up to par, you're welcome to shop at a DC dispensary as well. If you ever find yourself in the city, spring is
You're
coming.
right. You are right. I mean, at the end of the day, the only one I've really been to with any frequency is Tacoma Wellness in the city. Um, but I don't know if they even carry. I'm trying to think. I don't even know if I've seen them with district, but maybe so. Oh, you
Yeah,
said they definitely.
yeah, Tacoma Wellness. Those are my.
Oh, okay.
They definitely carry pretty much. If we offer it, they carry it. They're really great over there at Tacoma. I really love them.
Well, I'll keep that in mind. It's very attached. It's right across from Montgomery, Tacoma Park area. So, as we know, there's a bit of Tacoma Park in DC.
Yeah.
So Tacoma Wellness is one of I would say probably one of the best DC ones. Um, I haven't been to everyone, so I can't I could be biased there, but I would say just their selection is really good, and they have like kind of they were one of the first, right? They have very long standing business relationship.
Yeah,
So
they were one of the earlier dispensaries.
so it is Black History Month. you know,
Okay.
uh, so wanted to uplift, people with your company and organization, who are some pioneers and leaders, like yourself, in the business connected to DC, because I know that there might be like ancillaries, but who are some individuals you would like to uplift? I put you on the spot. I put you on the spot, right?
You
I know.
did.
I know. Hey, nobody like there gotta be somebody gotta give a shout out, right? Like who is maybe a black grower, somebody on management, whoever you want to give a shout out.
I feel so crazy. I want to just shout myself out, but that would be so crazy of me, right? Like I
Well,
can't do
well,
that.
I mean, we definitely should highlight you because I think one of the things that a friend of mine said is there's not many there's not many black people that are like the faces of these cannabis companies and out in the community, and you were one of the few names that we could actually account for, off our hands. So of
Yeah.
course we could highlight and elevate you, absolutely.
No, yeah, and that's fair. Um I agree. Definitely uplifting people of color, especially within this industry and in this community, right? Because we all know the long history um, of a lot of things and how things have went. Um, and then hopefully with new legislation and recreational coming around the corner, we'll just have new possibilities and new things for people of color within this particular industry.
For sure, for sure. I mean, in talking about that, like, where do you see opportunities, for people of color? Or, one of the things that I was mentioning kind of earlier was that, we shouldn't just thrive in the cultivation or the dispensary space or the processing. We also there's so many roles in cannabis that can be played. Like it's still a young market, right? Like basically whatever you're doing or wherever you're connecting, you can probably monetize it or specialize in it somehow. In cannabis. So
Yeah,
what advice do you have for those people of color getting in the market?
I say I really feel like don't hold back, right? Like I kind of stumbled into the industry because I was personally just kind of tired and ready for a change. And I didn't realize how many different avenues you can even take once you get into this industry. I mean, you have the dispensary aspect, right? But what is a dispensary? It's a retailer. So, like, if you are someone that has experience, you want to start a boutique or something like that, you could have the cannabis boutique. Like, you could take your own personal dreams and kind of mold it into what you would like for it to be. I'm personally a crazy plant lady. I love my plants. I love my house plants. I have a little garden I grow every year. Like I make beeswax candles. I've from me working in this industry and learning more and more, I've now make beeswax candles that I infuse with terpenes. Like I didn't even know what a terpene was at first, but from this,
Dope. Yeah.
what were you gonna say?
No, dope. Candles that give you feelings, right? Candles that give
Yeah,
you feelings.
absolutely. And then of course, I smoke and use different things and I learned like, beeswax will helps eliminate smell. Scientifically, it helps eliminate smell. It's like negatively charged, collects all that stuff. But with all that being said, I feel as though if I didn't even get in this industry, I wouldn't feel like as enthusiastic about other things in my life. I feel like I can pull all these things together and still have cannabis be a thing, be a part of it. Besides the back end, when it the whole reason why I consume, it helps me with my anxiety. So like I feel like people of color have so much opportunity to get in now because there's so much potential. Because like you said, it's like a baby industry. We're just getting started. Just getting started.
Yeah, some states have more mature economic markets, but as you said, it's still a emerging industry. Um, so it'll be interesting for Black people to get in early. And one of the things that we'll talk about early is that the career fair aspect, and we should be talking about now is those massive career fairs, shepherding people of color into the industry, and helping them, find their business talents that best suits them. Right. Some of them will never touch cannabis, but are necessary, and will be necessary moving forward. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, yeah, I don't touch cannabis. My position, I work between marketing and sales.
Yes, for sure. I see you all the time with brand stuff and swag. So yes, absolutely. And so one of the things you brought up recreation, and we did overwhelmingly vote for it in November. We're discussing the framework, in the General Assembly in Annapolis. So that's huge. July is a big date. July 1st, 2023. Is when retail sale is slated. And so what does recreational look like for district cannabis? What is the future? What do you envision? What do you guys hope? What can we expect?
Um, Ideally, I guess you can just honestly, y'all can expect some of the same, and I mean that in a good way. Like gonna continue to focus on quality and consistency at a good price. Um, when recreational,
Definitely a good price point. Always have a good price point. I agree about that. It's pretty good.
yeah, that's we just want to keep putting out that quality with the good price. With recreational coming, it's exciting. Definitely with it coming will come more legislation, but some of those things they're good, right? We want to make sure that everyone is doing what it is that needs to be done. Whoever is going to be purchasing on a recreational base, we want to make sure they're getting good quality cannabis and not just whatever. So I guess for us, it's just more opportunity to have more people know who we are, experience our product, and maybe one day in the future, I don't know, but hopefully in the future out, we'll end up having our own storefront, and maybe we might take things from there.
I'm sure that's in your guys' pipeline. Do you guys have the processor at all? I know you guys have the cultivation. Do you guys have the processor at all?
Yeah, we're partnered up with Beazle, so they pretty much are producing all of our like concentrates and stuff like that.
What is the company? I'm not familiar. Beazle?
Beazle with a B.
Oh, Beazle. Are they Maryland based? They're Maryland.
Yeah, they're right here in Maryland.
Okay, I just wasn't familiar. Wasn't familiar, but you
Hmm.
know, um, I know there's even less processors than cultivators. Uh, how many processors are there operating right now?
I can't tell you.
Yeah, last one I think it was like 6 or 7.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know
yeah,
off the top of my head. I could get back to you.
I
I
got
don't
you.
know right now.
Nah, I know a bunch of quizzing, right? A bunch of quizzing. Um, and so I would say that you guys, from my understanding, also have concentrate. I guess I didn't really remember that because I'm so focused on you guys' flower, but you guys also have concentrate. I've been told.
Yeah, we have shatters, butters, sugars.
Yeah, there was
Well,
what was that last one?
we have cartridges as well.
Oh, cartridges, absolutely, absolutely. Got a little something for everybody.
Yeah,
Um,
trying. We trying.
what about you guys didn't delve into the edible market?
So we just don't have that particular licensing to make that at the moment in time.
Understood. See, I just learned something. I didn't even know that there's particular licenses around. the edible aspects.
Yeah, very much so.
That would make sense because got a safety standards and quality control, and I'm sure it's a lot more that goes into the edible dosaging, which
Right.
of course edibles can be very dangerous, right? If you're not using the right dosages, and people can have some um, very adverse experiences, to edibles, especially if they weren't properly following the dosages,
I mean,
so
yeah, that could
yeah.
happen to some people. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember. Hey, the first time I did it, I slept for a day. Because I didn't do the right,
All day.
the actual day. So I know that it was just one of those experiences where, oh, I didn't. This doesn't affect me. And you're, eat the whole thing when you're really supposed to eat a third or a fourth.
Right. It's
And
like
so,
15 minutes later.
so yeah. So I mean, not that you're gonna die, but you might have a bad experience. Sleep too much, or just yeah.
Go to sleep, wake up high the next day.
Exactly. Go to sleep, wake up high the next day. If you're already a paranoid person, maybe get a little more paranoid, but you
Right.
know, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Thankfully, sometimes if you eat take a little CBD, it can help calm that down a little bit.
that's very true. And I think I mentioned that in an earlier episode with Lawan. She mixes herbs sometimes with her THC flower, and then also hemp flower, CBG, CBD, sometimes with a THC flower. Of course, that that CBD can take off that anxiety and that anxiousness,
Yeah.
but and then also give you that full spectrum feel as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of benefits too. Because a lot of people are chasing the THC, but if you get that good 1-to-1, man, oh yes.
Oh yes, I love a good one-to-one edible. Like
I don't know
it's a
if I had
good
a
day.
one-to-one edible. I don't know if I had the one-to-one edible.
It's a good
But
day.
like, yeah, I've had like the one-to-one flowers, but like the one and even the vapes. They even got like some vapes that are one-to-ones. But
Yeah.
yeah, one-to-one edible sounds great, but a lot of the edibles here in Maryland they're too low a milligram for me, so I gotta
That's
do a lot of them. So it's just you know I don't really do the edibles as much. Um,
that's fair.
yeah. We still have a ways to go, but I'm sure when recreational happens, we'll then see some higher milligrams, allowed. From my understanding, the way they're going to do it now is there's not going to be a separate facility. The only difference would be is at the point of sale, between the recreational medical, and then, if you do want extra education, um, places that have clinical directors, because not every place has one, you can access that, of course, especially as a medical patient. So that's my understanding. At least the way it's being discussed currently.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see once we get a little closer to July 1st.
Yes, I'm sure we will, and I'm sure you guys will be in the first wave. One of the things that yeah, no, exactly. I mean, as you guys should be. I mean, I feel that there are quality flowers and ones that I always mention in Maryland, always mention district ever since, probably 2 years. Like, and the thing I feel like now, I don't know if it's you guys are getting greater crop yields, but it's not as much like it's not as much shortage. Like I thought, like at the beginning, like you guys was trying to be hype beast, the way that like everybody wanted you guys, but you didn't have that much supply necessarily, right? So then now there's a lot of supply and everything, and there's not as much. It's like, oh my god, when are we gonna get it back in, right? Like
Yeah.
there's not much of that. I don't even remember where I was going with that point, but geez, there was a comment in there I thought, but um, what I was gonna say is, what can we look forward to, or what should we be looking forward to? We have no, that wasn't what I was gonna say. What I was gonna say was the brands that I always think are reputable in Maryland. Their flower is District Cannabis, Garcia Handpicked, and Evermore for the most part. Um, and all of you guys generally have good terp profiles. I can't stress the terp profiles enough. Um,
Okay.
Strain has strain. I'll throw strain in there. Strain has some good terp profiles. So it's definitely about the terps, because if you don't got the terps, you just got some high grade mids. And let's get that right. You just got some high grade mids, right? But with that being said, um, I wanted to ask you a few rap questions. The first one is, what are your favorite terpene? What is your favorite terpene or pair of terpenes, and why?
Oh, easy. Limonene. Limonene is my top number one favorite terpene. I I like
So
it.
is it limonene or limonene? Because
I say
I just got to know for those
I'll be saying
challenge
limonene. Everyone is free to let me know later on how it's
interpretation. It's open
supposed to be
interpretation.
pronounced. I say limonene, but I really like it. I feel like it eases my anxiety. Like it does this thing. I know for some people they're like, "Oh, it's awakening. It's refreshing." I feel as though it's awakening to me or refreshing to me because it's doing this. It's calming all the background noise down. Like it's calming down. Next,
That's
I
true.
would have to say myrcene and linalool. And I only put them together because they both kind of contribute to feeling relaxed, feeling at ease. I know myrcene is more so sedating. So, like, let's say I've had a long day, I've been doing a lot of driving, I ran a lot of errands, I'm ready to turn it off, like, turn it all the way off and go to sleep. I'm looking for myrcene. However, at the end of my day, if I'm looking to kind of like chill out, turn on a good show, I don't want to do too much, I just want to relax, linalool by far. And I really just kind of like how it smells. It's that lavender purpley kind of smell for me.
Yes, guys, as you mentioned, you can find terps everywhere, and you can find linalool in lavender, right? And so I do appreciate that, and you can find myrcene in mangoes, right? So that's why, you know,
Correct.
yeah, that's why they go well together. People hear me mention commonly, limonene is my favorite terpene, specifically as you mentioned, canceling out background noise, especially helps me, with the ADHD, right? But also just focusing in on activities, very uplifting and energetic. Um, and linen wool, I do like linen wool. I feel like it's relaxing, um, yet so what is it? So cerebral. I would say relaxing yet cerebral, and that's kind of the wording I would use to describe that one. My next question would be is, what is your favorite strain, and why?
This is always a tricky question for me. I, I know it's so cliche, but like I don't have a favorite. I don't have a favorite strain. I am a self-proclaimed situational smoker. So literally, depending on the situation, is really going to depend on whether this weed, cannabis, bud, whatever is about to do what it needs to do for me. So like I can say this, when I am like taking classes like at the college, because I'm taking a couple courses at Montgomery College. When it's time for me to like take a quiz or take a test or like I need to do some work, I really like Cherry Kim from District Cannabis. And not to pick District Cannabis
Cherry
I
cherry can good for the focus, yeah.
but it helps me to kind of calm down, relax. Because at the end of the day, I'm kind of like this. Like, I got bills to pay, dinner to cook, laundry to clean.
It doesn't
And,
have that pinene too.
huh?
Doesn't Cherry Kim have that pinene too?
It's not high in pinene because I have to stay away from pinene.
Oh yeah, I'm about to say that pinene is not always
No,
my
I
favorite.
personally gotta stay away. It makes me feel way too antsy. But Cherry Kim, it's a good balance. Like mentally, I still know what's going on. I could clickety clack on the computer and but
It's
I
just
can
not. It's just not the greatest tasting. It's so earthy. So
it
that's the
is
only thing that.
earthy. It
Yeah,
is
and it's not that I hate earthy, but like, yeah, it's just not the greatest tasting. But it's very good for doing work. It is very
right.
good for.
And you hear what I said, situational
Yeah,
smoker.
yeah,
May not
yeah.
be about the taste for me, maybe about the effect.
And,
So it's
and, and that's why I agree, because the gelato, ooh, the taste, but yeah. it not necessarily as beneficial if I'm going to do a big project as the Cherry Kim. The Cherry
Right.
Kim is better for that situation, and I know that from personal experience. I would say that my last question is, what is your favorite superhero and why, or who is your favorite superhero and why?
Oh, you know what? When I was growing, first of all, I'm a big anime fan. So hey to all my anime fans. But at the end of the day, I like Storm from X-Men. If y'all can classify her as whatever y'all want to classify her as, but she's a superhero to me. I used to want to be a meteorologist when I was growing up. So the fact that she could control weather, and I just think she's like a strong black woman.
Well, I love that you said Storm, especially on Black History Month. I also heard that you're a former otaku, anime fan, and so, who's your favorite anime character and why? As a bonus question, I do love that.
Ooh, who is my favorite anime character? I be watching so many animes nowadays. Old school classic is Sailor Moon, although Sailor Pluto is really my favorite.
I love Sailor Moon. Okay, well, we'll take Sailor Moon and Sailor Pluto. I definitely love the show. Um, and so the last thing I would say is tell the people how they can stay connected with you, or district if they want to reach out.
Absolutely. For me, you guys are welcome to add me on Instagram. It's High with Purpose. So high, just like HIGH with purpose. And you can shoot me any message. You could comment. You can ask me questions. I'm definitely open to talking as transparent as I feel. And District Cannabis, you're welcome to check out any of our latest projects, any of our testimonials at districtcannabis.us. And that is also our Instagram. So districtcannabis.us.
Yes, definitely. I appreciate you and taking a deep dive about a little about you, but also about district cannabis and who you represent. You guys are awesome. Appreciate your team, Allison, and definitely just for opening it up for us. And we plan to continue coming back and not only working with you guys in the capacity to figure out how we're best going to get Maryland moving forward in community powered cannabis, but how we can work together in the community to for the community to benefit not only from the benefits of cannabis, but also the rewards that cannabis is going to bring, right? Like, so yes, I look forward to calling on you guys for partnerships, you know,
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
and,
And I want to give
and
before
collaboration.
before this is over, I just really want to shout out the teams in Maryland and in DC. Both teams work really hard to grow really good product and package it all great and just want to make sure it's good for everybody. So I really want to give them a big shout out. I want to make sure they get the hand claps and the flowers they deserve too, because if it wasn't for them growing it and packaging it and putting it together, I don't know.
I think that's important to highlight the real superstars sometimes that are behind the scenes because they're the ones that are, crafting the product and, quality control and getting it to us, right? So
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate you for uplifting, the people that sometimes do not get uplifted but are the real superstars. So,
Yes.
yeah. Thank you for that, and I appreciate you. And definitely, have a good rest of your weekend.
Thanks. Same here. You too.
For sure, for sure. See you later.
Bye.
All right. That was Mariah K from District Cannabis, DC representing. And, we look forward to, I know me personally, to seeing some of those new strands. But everybody, stay fresh, stay classy. And if you haven't tried gelato cake, try it and, give me your feedback. All right. See you next time.